We're talking about Mega Man X7, which is the latest Mega Man game to come out for the PlayStation 2. Actually, the first game to come out for the PlayStation 2. Mega Man X6 was a PlayStation 1 title. To sort of inaugurate the series onto the PlayStation 2, the X series has changed a little bit. Last time that you saw it, it was a pretty much standard Mega Man game. 2D platforming, boss fights, weapon upgrades, the like. But now they've decided to take it into 3D. What this means to you is that there's going to still be a lot of standard 2D style platform jumping and fighting, except for that it's all rendered out in polygons. But then occasionally the view will shift and you'll see the game from a third person's perspective behind the back. When the game sticks to its roots, when it's just straight 2D action, it's pretty fun, but when it tries to go into the 3D stuff, that's kind of where it starts to misstep. The story behind Mega Man X7 is really weird and kind of irrelevant. It's about these Maverick Hunters, which are led by Mega Man X, which they just call X inside the game. Except for Mega Man now has these doubts about, killing off all these Maverick robots, and so he's kind of quit the business. And then this rogue group of Maverick Hunters has started up called Red Alert, except for they aren't really playing by the rules anymore. And the game introduces a new character, Axel, who was part of Red Alert, but then leaves and then creates this big rift between the Maverick Hunters and Red Alert. That's where the game goes from there. The story really isn't that relevant. You get little cutscenes where Axel or Mega Man or Zero, who's a sort of Mega Man sidekick for the past few games, interact with boss characters or whatever, but it doesn't really impact anything, and nothing is really that memorable about the story. The Mega Man X games have been very difficult in the past, and Mega Man X7 is also pretty hard. You still only get 3 lives, like in any classic Mega Man game, which can be daunting at times, especially since a lot of the level design requires you to make some leaps of faith. A lot of the difficulty comes from the game just being hard, but a lot of it comes from occasionally poor design. The game, when you're playing in the 2D perspective, is pretty easy to see and figure out, but occasionally when it shifts to the 3D behind the back perspective, it can get a little bit shaky. Just the perspective isn't that good, the control isn't that good, you're making a lot of platform jumps where it's hard to tell where you're supposed to be jumping. And what's especially irritating is that sometimes the camera will shift between the behind the back and the side-scrolling perspective while you're in the middle of a big jump, which can just make that jump unnecessarily difficult. The graphics are pretty good. It's a pretty good looking game. They've rendered all of the characters in this cell shading style, so they've got the thick black line around them, which seems to work well for the overall Mega Man style. The characters look pretty good. They're kind of small, actually, in the actual in-game engine, and they look decent during the cutscenes. It's no graphical marvel, but considering previous to this they were using some pretty ancient sprites, this is a much-needed facelift for the Mega Man X games. I don't think that Mega Man fans who really enjoyed Mega Man X6 are going to find X7 to be as satisfying an experience. When it strays from the formula again is when it goes the worst. When you've got the standard 2D action, it's pretty good, it's pretty fun, but it leans too much on the 3D stuff, and that is really its biggest misstep. I'd recommend Mega Man X7 tentatively, but only to really hardcore Mega Man fans. As far as a platformer goes, it's only okay. Fans of the whole franchise might get a kick out of it, but there are some serious issues with it.